Good morning. How are you? Live. Am I live on Instagram? No, I'm not. Bear with me. Audience, public. Oh, stream. Are we live in here? Yes, I am. Good morning. So, today's live training is all about the work that I do, why I do it, how I can help you, because when you change the way that you think and feel about your parenting, about your child, about your environment, about your life, things are going to shift really, really quickly. Okay, so if you don't know who I am by now, hi, let us get acquainted. My name is Rachel Davis. I'm a full-time single mama. I am an NLP practitioner, TEDx and international speaker. I'm a timeline therapist. I'm a musician and I'm a songwriter. But it's actually the thoughts and the feelings and all of the inner world stuff that I am fascinated in. I basically teach personal growth to parents and children. I help parents raise children who love, trust, and believe in themselves. So how do we do that? Let's start there, right? So first of all, there are a few different kinds of parents that seem to find me. The first one is parents who are deeply spiritual. I have a very deeply spiritual side. I've had some very deep spiritual experiences that have led me to the work that I do now. And so if you're into spirituality and you don't really know how to bring that to your children, but you want to be intentional about raising an awesome human who can go on to perhaps change the planet in some way, then you are in the right place. I also seem to attract a lot of single moms because I'm a full-time single parent myself. And some of those single moms are attracted to my story, so I'm a single mum. If you are lost and overwhelmed in your parenting role, if you're struggling in any way, this work is for you. If you have a child who struggles with massive emotions, hyperactivity, or you have any kind of behavioral issues and you just don't know how to help them, this is the training for you. Because the thing that holds all of my clients together is they're all united by this one thing. And this one thing is they just want to be the very, very best parent that they can be. So if that is you, this training is for you. Now, the work that I do is a little bit different to what's out there. I would say it's unique. I'm not sure there's anybody in the world that does what I do. So the first thing that I'm actively interested in is helping you as a mother own your shizzle. What do I mean by that? I mean your reactions, your guilt, your shame, your anxiety, your not enoughness, your self-doubt, insecurity, all of those things. And how can you bust through all of those? Because they're just thoughts. How can you bust through those for personal growth? I am massively down in the world of personal growth. I like to call it an undoing. Do you know, back to your pure, unadulterated, innocent, play-like, childlike, do not give a badass monkeys stuff. That's step one. The second part of what I do is increase attachment between parents and children. Now, this is really important for a child's emotional security and a child's sense of self-worth. This is where we build self-esteem with our children by increasing connection, because in today's busy, crazy, nutty world, there is not enough connection. Like, there's so much connection with everything else outside. There's not enough connection with what is inside, and there's not enough connection with our children. So I kind of bring that in with music and play, because one of my superpowers is taking really complex situations or scenarios or teachings that I speak to you on a high level and then turning them into play-based music sessions for children. Because before I did what I do now, before La La Tigers, I ran a business called Tiny Tempo, and I ran music sessions for Undevised for 6 years actually. And it's actually the work that I used with music to help children focus on solutions and separation anxiety and getting out of the door and focusing on confidence with the small things that led me to the much deeper work that I do now, which is really all about personal growth and transformation. So the third part of what I do is is the intentional parenting of the child. So let's talk about what that means, because I'm not talking about force and control. Everything that we do in my containers is based on energetics of love. Love is the highest based frequency that you can find. Anything that comes from force, stress, and control often creates like a counter will with your children. You know, for every force, there is an opposite force, right? And you will know this if you have children who have ADHD or any kind of trauma, or children who perhaps any kind of special educational need. You know this, that if you force, anything that comes from stress and control is always going to meet with a counter will, a pushback, okay? Our goal with our children is to meet them where they are and guide them to the solution. Now, the reason why I'm so fascinated with the thoughts and the feeling side of things is because everything that happens on the outside, all behavior comes from a thought and a feeling. So thoughts drive feelings, feelings drive behavior. And yet so often as parents, we're looking at the behavior and we're trying to fix the behavior, when actually what we need to be doing is getting underneath, understand what is going on, understanding triggers, understanding negative beliefs, understanding mindsets, so that we can then help our children naturally come up with the right behavior. Now, most of the parents that I work with are under sevens. I do have work and coaching programs for parents who have children over 7. So please don't let that put you off. But the reason why I'm very specific about working with younger children is because I genuinely believe that this is where we can have the most impact, okay? Before age 7, your children are naturally in what's called a theta brainwave state. Now, this is a much lower based frequency brainwave. It's actually the same brainwave that, as a hypnotherapist, I would relax an adult to in order to access a subconscious mind. It's also the same brainwave state that you can access via meditation. It's much slower, and it's actually the window to the subconscious. But before age 7, your children are naturally in this brainwave state, and then around about 6 or 7, something called a critical factor forms, and our children start questioning whether something is true or not. This is why childhood is so freaking magical, right? Our kids will believe anything, but that's the good stuff and the bad stuff. So before age 7, you have the most incredible opportunity to shape your child's mind, not just for their own good, but also for the greater good of all, because this is where their belief systems are being formed. Now, once these belief systems are formed, they are incredibly difficult to change. In fact, the only way that you can change belief systems is by making new suggestions to the subconscious mind, which can take years and, trust me, thousands of pounds. In fact, all of the world of personal growth is about undoing the limiting beliefs, changing the lens, opening up perspectives. Because when you change a perspective or a lens, the way you see something completely affects how you show up. So, for example, if you think the world is a scary place, that is how you're going to show up. If you think the world is a loving, accepting place, that is how you're going to show up. And it's all based on thoughts and feelings. It's all based on your inner world. And that is why I'm so fascinated, because once this belief system is formed in your child, they are going to look through this lens for the rest of their life. In fact, 95% of all of their behavior is happening completely unconsciously based on the belief systems and the programming that they receive in the first 7 years. No pressure, right? So instead of trying to undo all of the stuff like we're having to do as adults, what if we could go straight to source? What if we can go straight to our children as their belief systems are forming, increase self-esteem, increase attachment? We don't have time to go into the sublime work by Sir John Bowlby on theory of attachment. However, in my programs, in my containers, I have specialist psychologists who specialize literally in the emotional security of children. Una, love her, circle of security specialist, brain spotting specialist, family therapist, general badass, yoga teacher, Steiner Waldorf, kindergarten teacher. She's all of the things. She also went through my program with her own 2 children when I first launched it 4 years ago. So she really does know all of the things. We also have the energetic support from Aren, who is our body code, emotion code practitioner and energy healer. And she supports mothers and children with her unique healing. Now, these are healings and sessions that are going to create instant transformation. So I want to just talk a little bit about the transformation that happens within the containers that I run. I have seen children going from punching themselves in the face to skipping into school and getting straight A's. I have seen mothers leave relationships, learn to drive, move to other countries. And all of this is not the behavior. This is not from focusing on the behavior. This is on focusing on the inner world. Because as within, so without. So we work through a very well thought out and laid out plan. This is a journey that has been designed and tested for years. So we start by taking you from frazzled, overwhelmed, disconnected, reactive, guilt, shame, all of those things. We just get you into functioning. Functioning is the first part of the process. And in here, we're looking at increasing your connection, increasing your child's confidence, learning how music can teach, solving all of the little problems that you have, separation anxiety and transitions and bedtimes and those kinds of things. Once we have you into functioning, once you have got your head above water a little bit, then we go into focused. Now on focused, we're focusing very much on becoming incredibly self-aware. And don't forget that as we're introducing these concepts to you, we're also then introducing these concepts to your children in exactly the same way. So we educate you because you are the conduit, you are the best teacher of your child. And this is really important to understand because actually it's the relationship, the empathic relationship between parent and child or a loving caregiver and a child that actually supercharges the learning that's going in. In fact, the longitudinal study, the Australian longitudinal study of 3,000 preschool children found that actually music making in the home can have effects far and above that of even reading. And that is because it's the fun and the connectedness, it's the joy, people, of the play-based scenario that actually supercharges the learning and makes it go deeper into the subconscious, because everything that's remembered in our cellular memory, everything is either imbibed with an energy of joy or an energy of fear or stress. Those are the things that you remember. So if you want to drop lessons into your children's minds and know that they are going to stay there forever, music is the most incredible tool that you are ever going to use. It is why that you don't remember anything that your parents told you when you were 3. And it's why you remember all of the songs, all of them. And they'll probably evoke memories and smells because the part of the brain that stores music is not even lost to patients with Alzheimer's. Okay, you can play a song will come on the radio, and you are transported in your mind, right? So this is an excellent medium. And also Dr. Karen Purvis of the Childhood Development Institute found that it takes 400 repetitions to form a new synapse in the brain. However, it only takes 12 when done with a feeling of joy and safety. And that is why you are the secret ingredient. That is why I don't teach your children. I teach you, and then I give you the tools and recorded videos, fun stuff. And we're talking air guitar and bad wedding dancing and hip hop and just joy. People, you're going to have so much fun in my programs. Because that is it's your relationship that is going to bring that to your child and actually impact their subconscious in a way that I perhaps couldn't. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So the transformation that we're looking at, if you are struggling, if you feel like you've lost a part of yourself in the stormy sea of parenting, I'm here to remind you that you have a freaking rudder and you have an oar. And at any point in your life, you can choose to make a different decision, because that's all it is. It's a decision that you are no longer going to tolerate where you are, and a decision that you are worth more and you're ready for more. And if that is you, and if you want to teach these concepts to your children, these are just ways of thinking, expanded perceptions, ways of feeling, because the thoughts and the feelings, we need heart and brain coherence in order to actually manifest anything in the physical world, right? You need to have your heart and your brain connected before the action actually happens. So step 1, functioning. Step 2, focus, self-awareness, body, breath, thoughts, feelings. What are you holding on to that is no longer serving you? And this is a little bit like when we don't take a car out on the motorway when we first learn to drive. The first thing that we do is we get in our car and we look at the steering wheel and the pedals and the indicator, and we work out what the hell is going on. And we kind of figure how it all works. And then and only then are we going to go out on the motorway. And that, my friends, is what we do in part 3 of the Fear to Fierce experience. We go out on the motorway. We learn about imagination. We learn about the power of our visions. We learn about it as a GPS signal for your future. We learn about fear-based thinking. We learn about courage, determination. We learn about energetics and frequency and gratitude and confidence, courage, self-belief and purpose. In fact, these are all the things that are actually going to make the biggest difference to your children's lives, not maths. Everything in school is teaching them to look outside of themselves for all the answers. And everything that I do helps you and your child look inside of yourself for all of the answers, because you know. And the Fear to Fierce experience is about stopping winging it, stopping looking outside of you for all of the answers, and starting owning it, and starting looking inside and trusting yourself for all of the answers, because that is what I want for you, and that is what I want for your child. So if this is speaking to you, if this resonates with you, if you want to have a whole load of fun with your children, please drop, comment raw. I spell it R-A-A-R. You can spell it however you like. Drop it down the bottom. Drop me a DM. I'm looking for 5 badass women to go on a journey with me into self-discovery, self-expression, and the freedom to be yourself, and help you take your child with you. And it doesn't matter where you've been, and it doesn't matter where you are. It matters where you want to go and how I can help you get there. So any questions, please drop them down the bottom. If you would like to know more, drop me a DM. Otherwise, I will see you soon for more awesomeness. Stay fierce.